Hello everybody, Fantasy Sports Daily here, and today I'm going to be ranking the wide receivers and how good they are in fantasy football. And before I get into the rankings, I don't know a lot of these guys' name by faces, so I'm going to have to look them up on Fantasy. I have my phone here handy for that reason. So let's begin. I do know how these players are doing in fantasy though, and if they're good fantasy players or not, or if they're fantasy relevant. So let's begin. With an S tier, absolute S tier, absolute banger. There's only one other person on this road that I would put above this player, Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs is Josh Allen's basically main target. He's his favorite target. He's a wide receiver one. There's an airplane going by. Sorry if you can hear that in the video, but Josh Allen's favorite target. Very durable, very good in fantasy. Gabe Davis is a D tier. Had a lot of hype with him with the 4-touchdown game against Kansas City. Other than that, though, Gabe Davis has not lived up to the hype. He is a weak flex option at best. He's a D tier. Khalil Shakir, not fantasy relevant at this point. It might change, but they are in a pass-heavy offense, and they're not going to too much. Then you have Tyreek Hill. He is that one player that is better, if I can ever move it up, than Stefon Diggs. Tyreek Hill is the best wide receiver in the league. You won't see a better wide receiver than Tyreek Hill right now. Yes, Justin Jefferson is on the IR. Yes, I get it. That's fine. Tyreek Hill is looking like he is trying to beat Cooper Kupp's 1,900. He was trying to go for 2,000 yards, you know. I'm going to set myself a goal of 2,000 yards. 2,000 yards, you know. It's crazy. This guy is looking like he's going to do it. He's a cheat code in fantasy. Keep him. He's durable. He's pretty durable. I think he had one season in Kansas City where he kind of fractured his collarbone. He sat out for a couple weeks. I don't know how that worked, but pretty durable. He does have small issues, but like his foot or his ankle or something like that, but he plays through it. Jalen Waddle also, but he's less durable, but he's also very fast. Tyreek Hill's the fastest receiver in the league. Jalen Waddle is just slightly slower than him, but very good, very fast, great hands. Wide receiver 2, best wide receiver duo in the league. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He's a first-round pick. He's a third-round pick. So, great wide receiver duo right there. And I'm assuming that means this player has to be Cedric Wilson. Miami Dolphins, apply filters. So this player, he just has to be Cedric Wilson. Yeah, he's Cedric Wilson. So, Cedric Wilson is a straight up a dumpster fire F. And it's going to be, and it's a lot of, and for every wide receiver 3 of the team, and these small receivers, it's going to probably be an F or D because they don't really make a difference in fantasy. It's a bunch of these wide receiver 1s that people go for, or the popular option. They don't really start Cedric Wilson, Khalil Shakir. They just bench him at best, if they even want him in their lineup. So, that being said, we will actually now rank Juju Smith-Schuster, who is a dumpster fire F. Actually, but he's been an F so far. But he has potential to be a D and be the wide receiver 1 of the team. If the Patriots get better, Mac Jones is not looking too promising right now. And the Patriots offense is in shambles. Ramondre Stevenson, he had a better season last season. This season he's kind of slowing down. So it's the Patriots are not in a great spot right now. New England Patriots apply the filters. So that's Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a D in fantasy. He's an F in fantasy right now with the potential for a D. Then we have Kendrick Bourne. No, that's not Kendrick Bourne. My bad. That's Devontae Parker. And he is also an F. He's an F. Devontae Parker had one great game, and that was it. or one great game, and great game meaning he got 11 points. Hooray! Flex style numbers. That was one great game. 19, 33, 20 yards were his last 3 weeks. Dumpster fire, terrible in fantasy. Patriots receivers not doing that well. Anyhow, next receiver up, we got Tyquan Thornton, who I guess is injured right now, if I'm not wrong. Tyquan Thornton. Oh yeah, he's on the IR. So Tyquan Thornton's on the IR. He opened the season on the injured reserve. Week 6 projection 4.4. Yeah, no. I mean, the projection doesn't mean anything, but still, he's not getting a lot of volume. These Patriots wide receivers are terrible. The best wide receiver on the Patriots is actually not here. He's Kendrick Bourne. He's a C tier. He's actually above Gabe Davis because he's barely a flex option. He's actually similar to Gabe Davis. He's barely a flex option. He's an A tier though. I don't know why I put him at C, but he's an A tier. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, there was a lot of hype. I don't know if you saw that video or not on ESPN, but I think it was Mike Clay. He drafted Garrett Wilson in the first round. That's crazy, drafting Garrett Wilson in the first round. Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, he's gonna be a cheat code. Yeah, sure, okay. So Rodgers gets injured, and now Wilson has to deal with the other Wilson, Zach Wilson. So he goes down in fantasy, but still, regardless, he's a pretty good wide receiver. Last year was his rookie year. He had an amazing rookie year. Trying to build off his rookie year, he did amazing. What can you say? He's a great receiver. Is this Allen Lazard? I think it's Lazard. Let's just make sure. Allen Lazard, yeah. It is Allen Lazard, and he is a D at best. And it's a D minus too, because is this guy Corey Davis? Didn't he retire? This guy's Corey Davis out. This is the 2023-2024 season. So Allen Lazard was the wide receiver 1 until Christian Watson became a thing in Green Bay. He was Rodgers' favorite target for a while. He might be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 at best. Question is this Corey Davis? Let me see. Roster, players. Let me apply the filters real fast. It's the Jets. And availability all. Apply filters, wide receivers. Or is this Randall Cobb? Who is this guy? It's not Randall Cobb. This is Corey Davis. You can't rank this guy. You can't rank this guy. He's retired. Add a row below. Okay. X out. We'll make a blue. Retired. He's retired. He's done. Corey Davis is done. Or, I guess I'll just put you can't rank it. So, you can't rank him. The other, Corey Davis is out because he retired. The other one is Randall Cobb. He's not fantasy relevant. He's an F tier. But you can't rank Corey Davis because he's retired. It's amazing. So now we're going to move on to Ravens wide receivers. And they haven't been amazing this year. They have not been great at all. So let's move on to Ravens. Or the Ravens. I'm looking at you, Ravens. Where are you? Ravens. Right. I'll apply the filters. Ravens wide receivers. Zay Flowers. We'll start with Zay Flowers. He is an A tier. Sorry. No. Zay Flowers is a B tier. Zay Flowers is that sort of flex option that's reliable. He has been Lamar Jackson's number 1-ish wide receiver so far, which actually surprises me. I thought that Odell Beckham was going to return to Odell Beckham form, but wasn't I wrong. Odell Beckham Jr. is not himself, which means that we could put Odell Beckham Jr. at it right now. He has potential for, actually, he gets injured a lot. He's an F tier in fantasy right now. Odell Beckham Jr. Right now, he's an F tier. I don't know if he's gonna stay healthy. That's the problem with him, but he is Odell Beckham Jr. though. That's the problem. OBJ. Can OBJ rebound? He kind of is risky. He's a risky play. That's why I would put him in F tier. I don't think he's rosterable at this point. I don't know, man. OBJ. Yeah, whatever. Rashad Bateman, he's a D. I'm sorry, he's a D. He's an F. He's an F2. He's worse than OBJ. Rashad Bateman, I guess, was the wide receiver 1 last year for the Ravens. But yeah, he is. Rashad Bateman's an F tier. He's not going to get anywhere. Ja'Marr Chase. Absolute F tier dumpster fire. Just joking. Just joking. He's an A tier. He's an S tier. I'm sorry. He's an S tier. He might even be better than Stephon Diggs. He is better than Stephon Diggs. What am I saying? S tier. Debatably the second best wide receiver in the league. Ja'Marr Chase. You can't really argue that. And actually, the Bengals have a better they might have the best wide receiver duo in the league. I said that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle might be, but it's debatable, honestly. These guys are basically the best wide receiver duo in the league. Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins, and you have Hill and Waddle. Two fast people, two fast wide receivers, two great fast. This guy can't stay healthy, unfortunately, and this guy had some health issues, but two great wide receivers. Tyler Boyd's a D tier. He's barely in flex option. And that's if one of these two guys gets hurt, which they do. That's why he's in D tier. Amari Cooper, he is a B tier. Actually, I don't know. Amari Cooper, right now without Deshaun Watson, he's a B tier. But he might be an A minus, so I'll just put him in A minus. He's not a C tier. He's an A minus. He was great with the Cowboys. He's also very good with the Browns too. He's their best player right now because Chubb got injured. This is Elijah Moore, I believe. Let me see. This is Elijah Moore. The Browns, apply filter. Yes, this is Elijah Moore. And Elijah Moore is a C tier, our first C tier, because he's a decent. He's not really a reliable flex option. Well, he's a pretty okay flex option, but he doesn't get a lot of volume. He's a C minus D plus sort of flex option that has a little bit of upside. DPJ, he's a D tier. Let me see, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He hasn't been doing that well. Actually, you know what? He's an F tier. Like most of these wide receiver threes, he's an F tier. And then you have Deontay Johnson. Now we're gonna start with Steelers wide receivers, which is kind of wild. Pittsburgh Steelers. I have to go by city. Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson right now on IR, hamstring. He says he's gonna play after the bye. So let's see. Their bye week is week 6. Deontay Johnson is a straight up C tier. Deontay Johnson's a straight up C tier. I don't know why they have him as the wide receiver. I don't know why they have him as the wide receiver 1, but he's a straight up C tier. Same with George Pickens, but he's not a C tier though. He's a B tier. Problem with the Pittsburgh wide receivers right now is that Kenny Pickett is not reliable. But you have George Pickens, and what can you say? George Pickens is amazing. He's actually, you know what? George Pickens might actually be A tier. Let me see. George Pickens. He's B. He is a very high B plus. I should say he's not because of Kenny Pickett. He's not an A tier, but he's a very high B plus. He's very talented. Allen Robinson, he is an F tier. Only good when one of these guys gets injured. He did terrible with the Rams. He's an F tier. Moving on, we have the Texans. The Texans. So let's move on to the Texans. The filters. We gotta get Houston in here. Where's H? Houston. And we gotta go all. And we gotta apply the filters. The wide receivers. Nico Collins. Nico Collins, absolute A tier. He's finding that connection with CJ Stroud. He's breaking out. He's amazing. Nico Collins. Big part of that passing game. Robert Woods. Very weak C tier. If you can even say that. You know what? No, he's a D tier. No. He's a very weak C tier. What I'm considering a D tier is a very weak flex option at best. So you know what? That's actually Gabe Davis. So a very weak flex option at best is a D tier. So Robert Woods is a D tier player. And Tank Dell, I think this is Tank Dell. Nope, it's not Tank Dell. It's Mechie. Who puts Mechie over Tank Dell? No. Mechie's an F tier, but I think that third receiver on the board should be not Mechie, but Tank Dell. Enough with Michael Pittman's with the Colts receivers being labeled as bad. Yeah, I agree with whoever said that on Yahoo Fantasy. Michael Pittman is an A tier straight up. He's just really good. I mean, I don't know how he's gonna do without. I don't really know how Michael Pittman's gonna do without Anthony Richardson, but I think he should be fine. Without without Anthony Richardson, he should be fine. And another person that's probably a D tier, Alec Pierce. Wide receivers. This is Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is an F tier actually. Yeah, he's not reliable at all. I don't know why. I was thinking of Josh Downs. Josh Downs is a D tier, maybe a weak C tier. Josh Downs, actually, he might be a C tier. Yeah, he is. Josh Downs will be a C. Josh Downs is a very weak C tier, but he's I guess the wide receiver 2 of the Colts, and he's a fairly decent wide receiver. He's another good option. These Colts receivers are improved, I should say. Michael Pittman was not great last year, but this year he's showing signs of improvement. Christian Kirk. So let's move on to Jacksonville. Where's Jacksonville? There's Jacksonville. Apply filters. You have Christian Kirk. He is looking like he's an A tier. There was one game week 1 that Christian Kirk was not doing that well, but pass heavy offense. He gets a lot of receptions. He's an A tier, and same with Calvin Ridley, A tier. Zay Jones, however, nah, not a big fan. Zay Jones is out. First of all, he's not playing week 6 when I'm recording this. He has a knee injury, but he is a absolute D tier at best. But when he's healthy and he's on the field, it is a pass-heavy offense, so he might be a C tier. So, yeah, that's Zay Jones. He might be a C tier. I don't know if that week 2 he was out because he got injured week 1. I don't know what that's all about, but I guess we'll have to see. He's out for this week though. DeAndre Hopkins. Now let's move on to the Titans. The Tennessee Titans. Where's Tennessee? Tennessee Titans. Apply filters. DeAndre Hopkins is B tier at best. A B plus, I should say. DeAndre Hopkins was an A tier last year. This year, DeAndre Hopkins is a B tier, but he still has a lot of upside. So, you know what? A minus. He's an A minus. DeAndre Hopkins still has a lot of upside, even in a run heavy offense. He was better last year. He got nerfed this year, so DeAndre Hopkins A minus B plus, that around that area. Nick Westbrook, Akini, and Treylon Burks. Burks is out for this week. But Burks looks like he is a very weak D option, D receiver. And Nick Westbrook, Akini, absolutely not fantasy relevant at all. F tier. Although his numbers are looking like otherwise, like he wants to be put on in D tier. So we'll put him in D tier. How about that? Jerry Jeudy. It looks like they're moving the rock more, the Titans, so I don't know what's up with that. Nick Westbrook Akine is fine, but he's a D tier. He's not really fantasy relevant. He's the absolute D minus of the D minus, Nick Westbrook Akine. So now let's move on to the Denver Broncos. So the Denver Broncos, they have some good receivers. I'm assuming that last one is Mims. I'm gonna have to look that one up in filters, but let's see. Denver Broncos. Apply filters. You have Jerry Jeudy, who is not doing amazing this year. I mean, it's probably because he missed week 1 first of all because of a hamstring injury, but he might be dealing with injuries and also you got Russell Wilson. But as a receiver himself, he has the upside. He's a B tier. Courtland Sutton looks like he's the wide receiver one of that Broncos team. He's also B tier because if he gets a touchdown, he's great. But he has a very low floor if he doesn't. So these two guys are B tier. They both have upside, but they need to score touchdowns. I'm assuming this guy is Mims. He is. And I'm assuming that Mims, he had a couple of games where he did okay, but overall, he needs like a score, and he's very inconsistent. He's an F tier, not really fantasy relevant. Yeah, I wouldn't rely on Mims. Then you have Kadarius Toney, and I know these guys because I'm a Chiefs fan, so I don't really need to search them up or apply filters on them. Kadarius Toney is a D tier for fantasy. And then you have Marcus Valdes-Scantling. He's an F tier for fantasy. Same with Sky Moore. Actually, Sky Moore might be a D tier. But Marcus Valdes-Scantling, not fantasy relevant. These two are D tiers. The Chiefs receiver core is not looking really that great this year. The best receiver out of that Chiefs receiver core is actually Rashee Rice. He's a C or B tier. You have Davante Adams. Davante Adams is the S tier of the S tier. Davante Adams is is a top receiver in the league. Top target for Jimmy Garoppolo. Top target period. Jacoby Myers, C tier, very average, but he is that wide receiver too. And then you have Hunter Renfrow, who high F, low D. Put him in F. Then you have Keenan Allen. This year, Keenan Allen has been amazing. I'll tell you what though, his injury history in fantasy drops him from an S to an A. He's an S tier. His talent's S tier, but if you draft him in fantasy and I lost him for 7 weeks, that's why I'm putting him in A. So, he's an A tier. This guy can't. I really need to make a category that can't stay healthy. He's a B tier, but he cannot stay healthy. He's out for the season. Mike Williams, he just tore his ACL. Unfortunate for them. I don't even know who this other guy is. This Quentin Johnston? I think it is. Let's see. Los Angeles Chargers. Apply filters. Quentin Johnston. Not fantasy relevant, F. I mean, he could be fantasy relevant, actually, so he's someone to have on your bench. But he's not with, he's actually a high F. He's not like Marcus Valdes-Scantling or Mechie. Mechie's the F of the F so far. Or Allen Robinson or any of these receivers, really. Actually, Josh Palmer looks like he's a really good receiver, and he should be in B tier, I think, but whatever. That's because I think this was made before Mike Williams got injured, so whatever. CeeDee Lamb, S tier. Great season last time. He needs Dak Prescott to do well because he doesn't do well with Cooper Rush, but he's an S tier. Brandon Cooks, if he gets going, he's a D tier at best. And Michael Gallup, no. F tier. Not that great. And I'm assuming these are Giants receivers. Giants receivers. Giants receivers. Where are the New York Giants? There are the New York Giants. Apply filters. Wan'Dale Robinson. You have Wan'Dale. No, who is this guy? Sterling Shepard. No. Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton. The best receiver on this list is Wan'Dale Robinson, and he, I think, is here. Or is this Isaiah Hodgins? That's Isaiah Hodgins. No, that's not Wan'Dale Robinson. He's not even in the list. Okay. These guys, okay. First of all, you cannot, this guy, Isaiah Hodgins, F tier. Darius Slayton, F tier. Paris Campbell, F tier. We can just put all of these Giants receivers F tier. They're a terrible team. I'm going to have to drop him out here for now, and then I'll change that. He's an S tier receiver with a great Philly offense. One of the best receiver duos in the league. You can rake him. These guys, S and A, right there. Easy. And then you have that other Phillies receiver. I think that's Quez Watkins. So let me just go to my Philly team. And that is Zacchaeus, I think. Nope, that's Quez Watkins. No, that is Quez Watkins. Never mind. So Quez Watkins is out for some reason. I don't know what happened. So, but he's an F tier anyhow. It's usually the AJ Brown, Devonta Smith show with Dallas Goedert. B tier, Terry McLaurin hasn't been doing well this season. Terry McLaurin is a very solid B tier and he's B plus actually. Here he's with George Pickens and Zay Flowers and whatnot. Then you have Curtis Samuel over here. Curtis Samuel actually is a very solid option this season. He's a C tier. He's kind of that free agency ad that you could sort of rely on. Then you have, assuming that is, 1 second. I am assuming that is, apply filters, Jahan Dotson. That's who it is. Yes, Jahan Dotson is a very weak C tier at best. This Washington Commanders offense is not running efficiently, but they are, I guess, okay. DJ Moore, A tier. Justin Fields runs the ball a lot, but still DJ Moore is his #1 receiver. They needed receivers. They dropped. They had this whole thing with Claypool, A tier. Mooney, D tier. He has a chance to be D tier, and you can't rank Chase Claypool. Actually, you can, because he's now with the Dolphins, but he's an F tier. And then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's an S tier. Then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, S tier. I assume this is Josh Reynolds. He's a pretty solid, or he's not pretty solid. He's a pretty solid D at best. He could be used as a flex option. C minus. And then you have the Detroit Lions. You have Reynolds. Who is this other one? Is it Marvin Jones? Yeah, it's Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is not fantasy relevant at all. F. He's with the Fs of the Fs. Marvin Jones. Okay. Christian Watson. Packers are not terrible this year. Packers are pretty bad this year, actually. I meant to say. Christian Watson's a B. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of these Packers receivers by their names or by their face, so I have to look them up. Packers, Green Bay Packers, apply filters. This is Romeo Doubs, that's right. So Romeo Doubs is right now a B tier as well. He's actually fighting with Christian Watson for that wide receiver 1 spot apparently. And then you had Reed, who is he's a D. Yeah, he's a D. He can't be put in straight enough. He's a D. Justin Jefferson, you can rank him. He's one of the best receivers in the league. And before he got hurt, he was looking like he was going to be the wide receiver 1. So therefore, he's an S tier. He's not a C tier. He's an S tier. Great wide receiver. KJ Osborne, that is KJ Osborne. And I'm assuming that's Jordan Addison too. KJ Osborne, he's a D. If he and it's not if he is on the IR, so Jefferson is on the IR, so KJ Osborne will be getting a lot of those vacated targets. Minnesota Vikings apply filters. You have KJ Osborne. He's a sort of a C tier actually, and then B tier would be Jordan Addison because he's a high B though. He's not an F tier. I'm trying to move him all the way up here, so he's a B tier. Jordan Addison. With upside for more, by the way. Then you have the Falcons. The Falcons. Drake London at best is a C tier. He's a very low C tier. Maybe a little bit better than Josh Reynolds. And then I need to see who these other Falcons receivers are, because I don't remember them off the top of my head. Apply filters. You have Mac Hollins, F tier, and F tier. Move on. Who we have? Adam Thielen. So now we're going to be dealing with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers, you have Thielen, who I guess is actually doing pretty decent this year. What the? Adam Thielen. Holy, he's actually doing really well. He is looking like he's an A-tier receiver. Amazing receiver. If he can keep it up, of course. I think he's more like a B receiver right now, but if he can keep it up, he had a rough season last time, but he's off to a great start. Mingo, I think his name is Mingo, and then you have DJ Chark. Where's this DJ Chark? This looks like it's DJ Chark. Never mind. Mingo is not getting ranked. DJ Chark is not he's barely fantasy relevant. He's an F, or he's a D. He's a D. Actually, yeah, he's sort of a mid D player. And then you have who is it? Chano? It's not. It's Marshall. That's who it is. It's Marshall. Terrence Marshall. And Terrence Marshall is not fantasy relevant at all. Olave, he is an A receiver. There's a lot of hype over Olave. He's a very good player. He's an A receiver. You have then Michael Thomas, who was one of the best receivers and not the best receiver in 2019. Right now, he's a very mid receiver. And then you have I think that's Rashid Shaheed, if I'm not wrong, but I'm that's Rashid Shaheed. Yeah, it's Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed is sort of a D tier. Mike Evans, A tier. Chris Godwin, B tier. And then Trey Palmer, I'm assuming that's Trey Palmer, C tier. Or, I'm sorry, F tier. Mike Evans right now, he's playing an amazing season, A tier. But he is injury prone, though. Chris Godwin, B tier. And let me just make sure this is Trey Palmer. Mike Evans, A tier. Chris Godwin, B tier. Actually, honestly, let me see. Godwin's more than a B tier, honestly. Well, right now he's playing like a B tier, but he has upside for more, so I'm just putting him at A minus. Both of them are A minus. Mike Evans is better. Well, Mike Evans is better though. You know what? He's a high B tier. Chris Godwin's a high B tier. Yes, high B tier. And I wonder who this guy is. Who is this guy? Tompkins? No, it's not Tompkins. Trey Palmer. Is this Trey Palmer? No, it's not Trey Palmer. Jarrett? No. Who is this guy? Russell Gage. He's on the IR for the season before the season even started. So unfortunately, he cannot be ranked. Okay, Marquise Brown. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, B tier. Where did I put him? It's not D tier. Hollywood Brown, B tier. Honestly, same as that B plus. Let me see. Hollywood Brown is questionable for this week. That's not good. Hollywood Brown, A tier. A minus. Scratch that. He's having a pretty good start. Rondale Moore, D tier, is not the wide receiver you want to be starting. And Rondale Moore, D tier, and who's this guy? Dortch. Dortch, you do not want to be starting. This is Greg Dortch, and he's the worst because he doesn't play. He doesn't get targeted. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp, arguably the best receiver in football. Is that Puka Nacua? I don't even know these Ram receivers. I don't know what they play anymore for these guys. Rams, apply filters, Puka Nacua. They didn't even put Puka Nacua down. Wow, that's crazy. So who is that then? Is that DeMarcus Robinson? No, it's not DeMarcus Robinson. Ben Skowronek. Ben Skowronek. Yeah, I remember. Butterfinger Skowronek. He's pretty bad. But who is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is. I would say if this is Puka Nacua, he's a borderline S tier. I don't know who this guy is, so I can't rank him. Then you have Deebo Samuel. He's a solid B tier. But he was an A tier though in 2021. 2022 slowed down. He was sort of a C tier, D tier maybe. And then in 2023, he's just in a crowded offense. That's the problem with him. Ayuk is also in a crowded offense. That's why he is getting a little bit more than Deebo Samuel, so he's an A tier. And then I don't even know who this guy is. This Jawan Jennings? Let me see. 49ers, apply filters. Then you have Jawan. Yeah, this is Jawan Jennings. That's what I figured. So Jawan Jennings is an F tier. Not going to do very well this season. Jawan Jennings, F tier. DK Metcalf, A tier. A tier receiver. Gets found in the end zone a lot. A tier receiver. Tyler Lockett, B tier receiver. I can rank him for sure. I'm just trying to move him up. There's Tyler Lockett, found him. B tier receiver. And then you have Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's either a high F or a low D. At this point, he's with a pass heavy Seattle Seahawks, so he's a low D tier for me. Anyhow, I ranked all the receivers. You can take a look at my receiver rankings here. I'll slowly go down, and that will be the end of the episode. Like and subscribe for more fantasy content. If you like this video, share this video with your family and friends.